my name is Gianluca Roses and I'm a student at St. Peter's Prep. I'm thrilled to be here today presenting a TED Talk on what role race plays in the enforcement of marijuana laws in the United States. TED Talk, thank you for having me here, as my school has been discussing in detail the different levels of racism in our ethics class. So, what role does race play in the enforcement of marijuana laws? Let's dive right in. Due to the fact that marijuana usage between whites and blacks is approximately equal all across the United States of America, it should be assumed that the arrest rates would be equivalent. However, this is not the case. As it can be seen in this graph, the African American arrest rates can vary as much as 8 times in states such as Iowa to as low as 4 times in states such as New York and Nebraska. One common factor that can express the reasoning as to why the arrest rates are drastically different favoring whites is because many stereotypes that depict most African Americans are more frequent users of drugs overall. Another common factor as to why the arrest rates are so different could be racial biases. As mentioned, one large topic we've been discussing in class throughout the year has been the different levels of racism. While I was researching marijuana arrests, of the level of racism that can be most seen is these in structural racism due to racial biases that have been spread through depictions of people of color due to mainstream media. This has been discovered by police officers across America. Another topic we've been discussing in class is implicit bias. Implicit bias is the bias in judgment of one's behavior and results from his or her conscience. Another way to think about that is how we can see implicit bias or implicit stereotypes. Implicit biases is when people assume someone's background based on their appearance. Because black drug users have been stereotyped as violent in online media and movies, I believe this causes implicit biases to come into play when authorities are dealing with arrest situations in relation to marijuana. So, what do I believe? I believe whatever would make the arrest rates fair based on the race should be taken into action. Whether it be making marijuana legal or making new guidelines for police officers to follow in each state. Everyone should work to completely eliminate these biases. Let's get right into the ethical analysis. The ethical system of distributive justice, which is part of the Catholic social teaching, correlates to this topic drastically. One big idea is that every person has an equal right to the most extensive basic liberties, compatible with similar liberties to all. According to my collected data from 2000 to 2010, it can be seen that the usage of marijuana is approximately the same between whites and blacks, white overall usage being around 12%, while black overall usage is around 13%. However, the arrest rates are drastically higher for black marijuana users, resulting in a ratio of about 650 black marijuana arrests to about 200 white marijuana arrests carried out each year. This relates to the ethical system of distributed justice because blacks and whites are not given the same liberties or treatment when it comes to dealing with marijuana arrests. Another term relating to this topic is that groups always must remain unbiased. This is a direct correlation to the law enforcement officers that are performing these arrests. Law enforcement officers should always be fair in the consequences for each race when dealing with marijuana charges. The solution? Well, an organization called National Organization Reforming Marijuana Laws, or NORML for short, supports the legalization of marijuana. Although ending racial biases is not a direct reasoning for the call of reform or legalization, it may be an underlying reason that will be carried out through the legalization of the drug. This graph clearly shows that when marijuana was illegal, the ratio of white people being arrested to African Americans was much bigger. However, once marijuana was legalized in these two states, the arrest percentages of each race has gone down. More importantly, though, The gap between white and black arrests has decreased drastically. This shows that legalization has impacted the racial biases for marijuana arrests in a positive way. Since legalization, marijuana-related arrests, blacks and whites combined, in Colorado have decreased 60%, while in Washington they've decreased 90%.